understood that the DPPKZN has made a request in another to bring those, to arrest those and bring those back to South Africa as soon as it can possibly be. It's a request. If that request takes its nature to, as there were certain submissions here, 2 years or 3 years or whatever the case may be, which without at some stage we'll have to make a decision about this plan, about the 4 that we have or any other that might be added, and not be bound by the fact that we still have to wait for that request to be finalized. At some stage a decision will be made. There will be objections, for example. We make an application in court and say, can you give us 2 months, this will be finalized. That court will deal with that application at that stage. Should that court find that it will be a delay, we will proceed with the matter with those that we've arrested.
Trial may proceed against the president in the absence.
If that is the eventuality that should happen, it will happen. That's basically what we're saying. All we're saying, Your Worship, is we wish for our request to be attended to as soon as possible. Should it happen that we come to a stage where this matter has to be set down for trial and the request is not yet finalized, we will proceed with those that are here and deal with those 2 as and when the time comes. A request, of course, will be made for whatever. Every time a matter is brought before court, many applications are brought. The presiding officer of the court sitting will deal with that application as and when it is our wish, and we are of the view that it will be done not longer than 6 months. That is what we have. That is the information that we have. Therefore, as and when that time comes, we will have to make a decision to say, we would have loved to try all of them in one trial. But if the situation is that we cannot, we will proceed with those that we have. At the end of the day, the case is not necessarily dependent on the 2 being added. We have explained before you, Exhibit G is clear as to what evidence do we have. It would have been better for all concerns, not for witnesses to have to testify twice and all of that, to have those 2 added. At the end of the day, the court finds that it will be a delay, then we'll proceed. I don't know whether that answers the court's question. Thank you.
You've touched upon UG, and I've got a few questions to raise with you with regard to UG. Some of them, or some of the questions that I had, you have already touched on. You referred to, you said an eyewitness state, I saw X firing a shot at the deceased.
Yeah.
Are you saying the type of evidence that you have here, we have evidence of eyewitnesses?
There are eyewitnesses who saw the shooting.
And the eyewitnesses, are they going to implicate the accused before court?
One will implicate the accused who is not here before court. If your worship understands Exhibit G, we have identified one of the shooters as one of the people who are in prison.
Yes.
The second shooter at this stage is not necessarily identified by the witness, but the scientific evidence shows by process of elimination. Let me put it this way. There are 3 people that we're placing in the message.
Yes.
2 come out. This is now by process of elimination of the scientific evidence. 2 come out.
Are they identifiable?
Now, there's a witness who identifies one shooter. The other one is not necessarily identified by the witness at the time of the shooting. But but he's placed in a Mercedes-Benz before and after. And by now having out of all the role players, we are saying, for example, that these 4 and these other 2 that are not. The process of scientific evidence says these 4 were here at this time of the shooting. The only 3 could be here is these 3. Out of these 3, we identify 1. And when you look at the description of the second one, because we've managed to place, for example, accused number 1 is placed in the Mercedes-Benz, together with applicant number 4, as well as the shooter in Swaziland. Now, those are the 3 that were in the Mercedes-Benz at the time. Now, 2 comes out, and definitely this person who fired the second shot is not accused number 4. By a process of elimination, we argue. The only inference you can draw is the following. Even if I have covered my face, but I came out of that Mercedes-Benz and ran back to it immediately after that, and everything else places me there, except one who said that's definitely. But the inference can be drawn from the scientific evidence as to who the second shooter is. I'm not sure that it answers the first question.
No, I follow. One aspect that is of concern to me is the allegations which are made by the state. Applicants were contracted to kill. They were hidden. Is there evidence to that fact that the applicants were contracted to kill?
I can't be the only person on the planet that didn't know you can generate an endless amount of power simply from the ground beneath you. Now, with this strange device, it's possible. You not buy solar panels or any other energy.
Without giving much in view of the sensitive nature.
Yes, I accept it is sensitive, but there is this wide allegation which has been made. These are contracted killers. These are hitmen.
Your Worship, if one looks at the evidence of how the murder was committed, how everything else happened, collection of guns, use of stolen vehicles, use of unlawful firearm shooting after payment. Inference we are drawing is, these are the hitmen. They were paid equal amount of money for this job that all of them have done in view of the roles that they have played in the commission of the offense. Bearing in mind that hitmen do not necessarily have to know the reason why they are committing the offense, they are killing. They don't even have to know the motive. What is important to them is you do the job, you get paid. Now, the planning, the evidence showing the planning that from the time that the deceased number 1 arrived, he was followed. From the time he arrived at the airport, he was followed. Where was he taken to? What happened? Roles played. One goes inside the wish and make sure that I could see him and what communicate with the other. The planning shows that this was a plan to kill. Now, after they have killed, what then happened? They are paid. The inference is, these are it. I will add to the issue of the payment later as to why we say it's a payment. But the fact of the matter is, that is the evidence. Therefore, you don't necessarily at this stage to say, on the prima facie evidence, do I necessarily have to know or have the person who ordered the hit arrested to make a decision whether to grant bail or not? On the evidence before this court, is there enough evidence prima facie showing that this was a contract killing? The person, yes.
Does this include applicant number 3, who is said to have not even been at the scene of murder at the time? He was languishing in hospital.
Exactly. Now, we are saying, as part of the plan, as part of the execution of the plan, we need a storing camp so that it could not be detected. We need the firearms to be used for this purpose. And we have shown to the court that this was not the once-off incident of accused number 3 providing this. There's the rear 53, which happened immediately after this. We have shown to the court that this is the role that accused number 3 is playing, where he says arrangements made